a final and a fun question from a new viewer for our show. This viewer comes, this viewer's name is Mr. Lee Anderson.
About time, Lee Anderson.
He writes, "Hey guys, so Jackie Chan was interviewed and he had said that Rush Hour 4 is in the works. How excited are you about this news? And do you think we will see a Rush Hour 4 film?" Well, thank you for your question, Lee. So I want to take this all the way back real quick. It's funny, me and Jeremy used to do this show with a content creator. It was called Fandom Talk, and we talked about Rush Hour 4. And Kevin was on that show at one point. And I remember saying that because I don't think Bad Boys 3 had came out yet. I remember saying that. I remember when Martin Lawrence and Will Smith came out together, they shut down the internet when they said Bad Boys 3 is coming out this year. It's going to be explosive. And when it came out, it was like coming back home to
it was good.
These characters. Like, I love that movie. And I remember like it was yesterday when Jeremy and Kevin, shout out to Kevin. I haven't talked to Kevin in a minute, but shout out to Kevin, where they said that they did not give a damn if Rush Hour 4 were to ever come out in the near future. And it's funny, now mind you, that was a couple of years ago, but now I remember as I look back at nostalgia, like I love the first Rush Hour. I love the second Rush Hour. Rush Hour 2 is probably the funniest action comedy movie I have probably ever seen. Like, that's because that dynamic of Carter being in China and like thinking that he's saying I'm LAPD in China, like that helps. Like, that is the most funniest shit I've ever seen. Rush Hour 3, we won't even talk about.
It's funny you said that. I did me and Toddy actually rewatched Rush Hour 2 maybe a month ago. Yeah. And that part that you're talking about, like LAPD, move out the way. I think I busted out laughing. Yeah. It's funnier when you're an adult. Like, you're like
exactly, because it's like you have no you're not even in America. Like, what the fuck? Like, LAPD in fucking China, really? But I saw this news, and it's funny. I think at one point Chris Tucker was being interviewed by Shannon Sharp, and he had asked him, are you willing to come back? He said, "Listen, that's Warner Brothers' money. You know, if they want us to come back, I'm willing to come back. I'm not so sure about the director. I don't know if Brett Ratner's going to. I seriously doubt if they're going to do Rush Hour 4. Brett Ratner's not directing this.
No way.
But I would say this: if you're asking me, do I think we're going to see this film? Honestly, even though I am so like hip to nostalgia and I did want to see this film at some point, I don't think we're going to see a Rush Hour 4. I think, if anything, more than likely, they're probably going to reboot that franchise into a new slate of movies. They tried rebooting it on TV. Obviously, that didn't work. I don't think we're going to see a Rush Hour 4. One, because Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker are so old. I don't believe, like, the thing with Bad Boys 3 that worked, at least to an extent, Will Smith is in shape and he's doing all the stunts. And Martin did a good job playing the retired role. Like, yo, I'm done with this bullshit. Like, that was the perfect dichotomy for that film. When you have two older people in this movie, I don't even believe Jackie Chan can fight like he used to. So for me, watching him fight at his age now and having this weird dichotomy with Chris Tucker, like, what is it going to look like? I mean, Chris Tucker is not even really doing movies now. He's still doing comedy. So for me personally, I would love to see it to an extent, but I don't think this is going to happen. I think it's a little bit too late. Both of them have gotten a little bit older. I think what they should do, if they do a Rush Hour 4, have Soo Young be a part of the new cast of characters and have like Lee's son and Carter's son lead the charge. I think that would be interesting. Or just do a reboot, like have another reboot, cast someone in Chris Tucker's role. DC Young Fly comes to mind, and also, that would be dope. DC Young Fly and maybe Timothy Delgado as Carter and Lee. That would be amazing. But me personally, I don't see a Rush Hour 4 coming. Ian, you were just talking about Rush Hour 2. Do you think we'll see a Rush Hour 4 movie? And if you do think we'll see it, did you want to see it from these characters coming back to reprise their roles one last time?
Oh yeah, Rush Hour 1 and 2 are like some of the best buddy cop movies of all time. Rush Hour 3 wasn't bad, but it's just not on the same level as the other two. A lot of people, I usually just watch the first two and don't even watch the third one.
Right.
And to your point about Bad Boys, man, I'm one of the few that actually thinks, I think Bad Boys 2 is the funniest, but I think as a story goes, 3 is actually the best. And,
Yeah,
you know,
best,
a lot of people don't give it that much credit. 3 is actually really good writing.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to see a fourth one though? Not really. Do I think it could happen? It could happen. You know, studios don't have a lot of creativity. They do reboots and they do sequels all the time. They don't seem like they're coming up with anything new. I don't agree with you saying that Jackie Chan can't fight. I think that man will be in a nursing home with a cane whooping ass. I think he'll get a shoelace and just strangle some old man. Like I think he can. I think he still got it. And you know, Chris Tucker probably still got it with his humor. I don't know what the story would be about. I think there's just so much you could do with that. I think it's kind of run its course.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that would actually work is their chemistry. I can care less about the fighting. I can care less about Chris Tucker screaming into the air. I just like their banner. I just like them just talking. I could just watch an episode of them like on a podcast talking.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really care. If they do it, cool. And if it sucks, that's cool. We got 2 good ones anyway. So but do I think it would happen in this day and age? It possibly could. Am I for it? Not really. But I actually would like to see both of them do something else because we haven't seen both of them in a while. So.
I would like to see personally if we're talking something else, I would love to see Jackie Chan in the Shang-Chi movie. I think that would be dope. And I would love to see
I'm sorry. Yeah, basically that what he did in Shang-Chi was basically it felt like a Rush Hour movie when he was scaling the side and beating the guy up it felt like something that Jackie Chan would have did back in the day.
Yeah, I would love to see that. And I would also love to see Chris Tucker do more comedy movies. It's funny, as you were talking, I started to think about Netflix is doing a Beverly Hills Cop 4 movie. I love the franchise. I didn't really like 3 that much. Now that I think about it, I mean, Eddie Murphy is coming back to reprise his role as Axel Foley after so many years.
It's longer than Rush Hour.
Yeah, I'm interested, but it's just like I think it kind of puts me back to like Coming to America too. I'm interested, but when we got that final product, I'm like, we didn't really need it. That's how I feel. And I feel like that's how Rush Hour 4 is going to be. And unfortunately, I'm hoping that Beverly Hills Cop 4 is not going to be that, but I kind of feel like that's where it's going. But Jeremy, I remember talking to you about this years ago. Has your opinion changed about a Rush Hour 4? Or do you think that we'll ever see it come out in the next couple of years or so?
Ian's right that you can't put it past them with the technology available these days, especially. I was looking at the box office for the trilogy, and obviously I don't have I was trying to look it up, adjusted for inflation, but they made about $250 to $300,000 or $300 million worldwide. So they're not, they're box office successes. There's no question about it. But the era of the buddy cop action movies, it's kind of behind us in a lot of ways.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
Jackie Chan's days as an action hero are kind of behind us. I do got to push back against what Ian said. As much as we love Jackie Chan, and I'll always go back and rewatch Super Cop and Rumble in the Bronx and The Drunken Master and all of Jackie
Remember
Chan
Shanghai
stuff.
Noon and Shanghai Nights?
Of course. Yeah. That was the white people shit version of Rush Hour, though.
The white
Can
people
we
Rush
be
Hour.
honest? Yeah. And like
that's a good one, bro.
All that shit kind of missed me though. Like I think it hit in certain culture, like cultural zeitgeist more than it did others. And, you know, Rush Hour wasn't something that me and my buddies in Navarre were watching and talking about growing up. I want to go back and rewatch it. I think it's also that I'm a little bit older. So like if I would have been y'all's age when it was released, I think I would have a much different feeling about it. Kevin being a little bit closer to my age is kind of the same thing, where I think it just kind of, it was a specific time And I don't think Chris Tucker is the same comedic draw or box office draw that he was. He was,
That's true.
You know, in the 90s and even into the early 2000s, maybe Chris Tucker was synonymous with comedy movies and stuff like that. But he hasn't been on the scene in a substantial amount of time. So no, I don't think it will happen. But I do think I owe it to our viewer to go back and check out Rush Hour 2, it seems like, and dust that thing off, because I hadn't seen it in a long time.
Oh man, classic.
I just thought of something too. The only way I would kind of want to see this if they if they use that franchise and put it with a different franchise, like maybe Beverly Hills Cop and Rush Hour or what's it called, Bad Boys. As ridiculous as it sounds, I'm down to see an experiment of like seeing two franchises collide, like they're both working on the same case.
That would be cool.
It would be cool. I mean, I'm not even sold on it.
Yo,
but I'm just like,
Mike
I'm just
Lowry
trying.
Fight.
Yeah, just them going at it. They're fighting each other, trying to solve the same case. I'm not even sold on this, but I'm just trying to see like why would I want to see another Rush Hour? And I'm just like ways I would maybe if you combine it with a different franchise. It's the only way.
I mean, I actually can kind of see that. I see that more happening with Bad Boys because in a sense they're very different, but they're the same in a sense. So I think I would like to see that combination. Now that I think about it, look, to Jeremy's point, that era of buddy cop films is not really a thing anymore. It's more so now when you're watching movies, action, comedy, dramas, and then you have your blockbuster comedy or blockbuster movies, whether it's MCU, Star Wars, Harry Potter, DCEU to an extent. Yeah, so that whole buddy cop thing is kind of faded away, and he's actually right.
It kind of ended after 22 Jump Street. I love 21 and 22 Jump Street. 21 is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. I definitely recommend The Other Guys. I'm sorry,
hilarious.
The Other Guys and The Nice Guys. Actually, The Nice Guys is a very underrated movie.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. So after that, though, you're right. I've never really seen much after that.
I mean, people will throw out Bad Boys 4, but I would counter that with Will Smith. He's still like one of the hugest movie stars of all time. So like his career never diminished. Like,
yeah,
we had to bring Martin Lawrence back from wherever Martin Lawrence has been at for running around on the interstate in LA or whatever.
That was like the 90s. Let it go, man.
No, never. It was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was before Won't
like,
Tell That.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah,
that was during the time I think the show Martin had ended. Like
exactly. Yeah.
So I was 8 years old.
We can't forgive Martin, but we can forgive Will for slapping the shit. Martin, those two had mental breakdowns. Come on, they're still good people.
I mean, I'm interested to see. I will say this. To your question, Lee. I'm more interested to see Bad Boys 4 than I am Rush Hour 4.
Yeah.
I think I am too. Because the third one ended so good. I'm like, I kind of want to see more of that.
Right. And I mean, and it ended in a way where you can continue that story with the characters that they set up. So I'm more interested to see that. And I think that, Rush Hour, the franchise has kind of run its course to an extent. So that's why I think a hard reboot or just a retelling, if you will, would be a better suited for that particular franchise. But thank you for your question, man. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Rush Hour 4 should be released, and do you think it's coming out anytime soon? Jump into the comment section below and let me know all your thoughts.